welcome those of you who just watched Vanderbilt defeat Auburn to Lincoln, Nebraska, where the opening kickoff came off the foot of Adi Kunalik. And it's run back by Jeremy Macklin, the All-American all-purpose player. 34-yard return. So Nebraska did kick it to him, although not directly. And Macklin has given the Missouri offense excellent field position, led by Chase Daniel, the senior from Southlake, Texas, out of Carroll High School. Has completed 76% of his passes this season with 12 touchdowns and only 1 interception. Leading an attack that has averaged just under 54 points per game. And his first pass is incomplete. A hard hit by the safety Ricky Tanars on the ball thrown to Macklin over the middle. Impact players, and they're all over the field for Missouri. Derek Washington, second in the nation in scoring behind Javon Ringer of Michigan State. Chase Kaufman, a leading candidate for the John Mackey Award, as the best tight end in the country. And the coaches say Elvis Fisher has given them great play in his first year as a starter at left tackle. One of the big reasons why they've been so good this year offensively. Washington gets his first carry and goes for about 5 to the 41, perhaps the 42. The starting lineups at the top of your screen. They run the spread engineered by the man who most considers the leading candidate for the Heisman Trophy right now, Chase Daniel.
Yeah, I absolutely think he is. And again, don't sleep on Chase, because he will hurt you with his feet. Bo Pelini's employed a 6-man defensive back formation, a dime defense with Pierre Allen, a defensive lineman, playing linebacker right here. You'll see him rush from all over the place.
They have not had a 3-and-out this year when Chase Daniel's been on the field. They won't have one here, and they might have a touchdown. Will they catch Macklin? No. Touchdown, Missouri. They have so many eye-popping stats, and I think the number 0 3-and-outs might be the most impressive. 3rd and 5 there, no problem. 58-yard score to Macklin, who runs a 4.340.
Well, when he gets the ball in his hands, the one thing you have to do is make sure you tackle him and eliminate yards after catch. O'Hanlon put his head behind the ball carrier, only used half his body and half his strength to try to bring down that guy right there. And you got to get a hit on him, or he'll put you on his highlight film in a heartbeat.
Just 59 seconds to score, and the extra point up and good. And if they didn't have enough good kickers, they might have enough players. They might have the best kicker in the country as well, and Jeff Wolfert. The seniors never missed an extra point. 140 for 140 now. They have scored a touchdown on their opening drive of all 5 games so far this year. Let's check in with Rob Stone.
Guys, Chase Daniel got some inspirational advice from some unlikely sources this week. Through his connections working quarterback camps, he reached out to some pretty big quarterbacks. USC's Mark Sanchez, at Florida, Tim Tebow, and he said, hey guys, you're all top 10. You all lost last week. What should I not do this week? He said, hey, focus on the little things, not the big picture. Let things go. Relax, enjoy yourself. And guys, make sure you don't have this feeling. It is the worst thing you can possibly have. Chase and Chris, you talked about it earlier. The entire team has been reminded through their bye week how many top 10 teams were knocked off last week, and to not let that underdog get a little something going early on.
I think they just play with such confidence on offense. I believe that they believe that there's nobody in the country that can stop them or slow them down. And it's amazing to me, Sean, talking to Chase's teammates, the amount of confidence that they have in Chase Daniel.
That was their 15th touchdown drive that's taken less than 2 minutes. That one took 59 seconds. Nebraska's actually adept in that category as well, but only Oregon has had more drives of under 2 minutes to score a TD this year.
Bo was down there talking to O'Hanlon. All you got to do is make the tackle. We dialed up the right defense. Just make an open field tackle.
They're trying to change the defense, but we saw it last week. A lot of missed assignments, a lot of missed tackles, and you can't do that against this bunch. Wolfert's kickoff went out of bounds. And this was a dreadful defensive team for Nebraska last year. Gave up about 38 points per game. Had 4 games in which they gave up over 40 points, including that loss at Missouri. So they're a group trying to get confidence back. trying to get back to playing good old-fashioned great Nebraska defense.
Free kick out of bounds by the kicking team. Nebraska has elected to take the ball at the 40-yard line. First down.
And they look for Nebraska to establish the run. Talk to Sean Watson. The offensive coordinator wants to talk about wearing your old cleats. They're not a spread football team. They're a power running football team. They want to do that. And right there, Bo's saying, look, if you want to play, make a play. He had a shot at making a play. If you want to beat a team like Missouri, that's what you have to do. When you have your opportunity, take it.
And Nebraska has been a prolific offensive team. 7 straight games with 30 points or more dating back to last year. Marlon Lucky, the ball carrier. And he spun ahead for 3 to the 43, tackled by striker Shulock. It is a very windy night here at Memorial Stadium, and that breeze is at the back of the Cornhuskers here in the first quarter. Joe Gans is their quarterback, the senior from Palos Heights, Illinois, on the south side of Chicago, completing over 64% of his passes. And like Chase Daniel, he can take it down and run. Lucky again for 3 more, wrapped up by the middle linebacker, senior Brock Christopher. Lucky's the starter, but one of the big topics this week has been, should Roy Halou be the starter? They've been using 3 I-backs regularly. Halou has been more productive statistically.
Well, being here last week, I think Halou should get more carries. Now, it doesn't matter who starts, it's who gets hot. And I think Sean Watson has to make the decision to ride the hot horse.
And Halou's averaging over 6 yards per carry, and Mike McNeil, the Missouri native, is an emerging threat at tight end. Gans rolls out, throws it in the flat to Todd Peterson. Looks like he has the first down. He got walloped by William Moore, one of the best safeties in the country, who's back in action this week after sitting out their last game 2 weeks ago against Buffalo with an injured foot that's bothered him off and on all year. Just looking there, he breaks on the ball nice and gets a good solid hit. But why they were able to complete that pass is because they were in a manageable 3rd down by establishing the run. William Moore was just a little soft in his coverage. Catch it and just fall forward. You have the first down when it's 3rd and 4. 8 interceptions last year for Moore. A 230-pound safety. Size of a linebacker, the speed of a defensive back. Gans on the run. First down to the 22-yard line. It's Halou who's come into the backfield. 27-yard gain.
This is what Joe Gans does. He keeps his eyes down the field. He doesn't panic and say, oh my gosh, I got to run. A lot of times he plays it close to that line of scrimmage. But right there with his eyes downfield, defensive back quick on the coverage. And Halou was able to get open. But just because he keeps his eyes downfield and stays patient allows him to make big plays with his arm.
He stays in as the I-back now, a power run formation. Halou for 2, tripped up by Sean Weatherspoon, first team all Big 12 linebacker last year. And how about the game he had 2 weeks ago against Buffalo? 20 tackles.
That's a fair. And when I talked to him yesterday, he's an impressive young man. And he plays hard. And this is the big stat right here for him. 3 interceptions, 2 against Illinois, which were game changers in that opening victory.
Yeah, both were in the 4th quarter. 1 return for a touchdown when they were hanging on after squandering a huge lead against the Illini. Movement along the left side of the offensive line.
Dead ball. False start. Offense number 65. 5-yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
Mike Smith, the left tackle. Penalties have been a problem. They hurt last week against Virginia Tech, including one on the coach himself, Bo Pelini, who threw an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. Said he was a little surprised by the flag because there was no warning that he needed to pipe down.
He did learn a valuable lesson.
Sometimes if you say the right words, it goes right past the warning to the flag. On 2nd and 13. Lucky back in there. He rushed for over 1,000 last year. He was the leading returning rusher in the Big 12 this season. He got 5 with that run. They're trying to be balanced. 24th in the country in passing. They want to get more out of the run game. Only 57, but 155.5 per game. They've scored 37.5 points per game. That's the most important stat of all. 17th best in the country. And on this opening drive, doing what they want to do. Stay on the field offensively. Gans under duress. And away from Jerron Baston. End zone. Caught. Touchdown, Nate Swift.
Well, it starts with an audible. They weren't a man, and they checked the zone, so Joe has to work on his own. And again, where's his eyes? Down the field, knowing he's going to take the shot. Swift comes in, secures the ball nicely. There you have it, tie ball game. Answered.
Alex Henry added the extra point. Nate Swift, the senior from Hutchinson, Minnesota, with a 20-yard touchdown reception, capping a 7-play, 60-yard drive that took over 4 minutes.
ESPN's College Football Primetime, brought to you by Allstate, proud sponsor of college football and the 75th Allstate Sugar Bowl. Are you in good hands? Chase Freedom, introducing rewards points you can use like cash. Visit chase.com/freedom. And ESPN Game Plan. See the most college football every Saturday. To order, call your pay-per-view provider.
Husker Nation fired up after the Cornhuskers answer the opening score by Missouri with a touchdown of their own. The first time this year Nebraska has scored on its opening possession. Nate Swift on the receiving end of a 20-yard pass from Joe Gans. Gans was 3 out of 3 on the drive. Bo Pelini was asked this week if he was concerned about getting into a scoring contest with Missouri. He said, isn't every game a scoring contest? That's the way this one has started out, at least.
It's a high-scoring contest, I think, if Bo doesn't want to get into. But if they don't start tackling better on defense in the back end, Missouri will put 60 up on them.
Adi Kunalik with that 18-mile-per-hour breeze at his back. It's been gusting up to 25 miles per hour, about 8 yards deep into the end zone, so even the brilliant Macklin didn't want to run it out.
See Gans right here keeping his eyes downfield, and Spoon comes in and gives Gans the shot. And that's a leader right there, taking one for the team and say, if that was such a great hit, what am I doing still standing here? But look at the players rallying around their senior, and there's Swift working back to the football, not drifting, but coming back to the ball to make the secure catch. Excellent play.
The Missouri pass defense has been shaky all year. They're near the bottom of the country in that category. Their passing offense is right at the top. Inside handoff, and Washington with a lot of running room out to the 37-yard line for 17 yards for the sophomore from Raymore, Missouri.
This is the play where if you only have 4 or 5 in the box, they're going to run this all night. How many guys? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out here. I'm not even counting him in the box. And look, all the blockers. Look at all these blockers. They got a hat on a hat, and that's too easy right there. And Derek Washington says, I can't believe I got that hole. And he took advantage of it.
Ricky Tenarce, junior safety from Los Angeles, the injured player. He's been bothered by shoulder and collarbone injuries, and it looks like that's what it is again. They're a bit banged up. They were not a deep defensive team to start the year. Larry Asante, another starting safety, got hit in the head last week against Virginia Tech, was clearly woozy, left that game and was in and out of practice this week. And Bo Pelini wasn't certain how much he'd get out of Asante tonight. Good news for Bo is that Tenarce is back on his feet and running off.
He's dragging that right arm a little bit. Sean, you're right. That's usually a shoulder when you see that arm hanging. He's the most physical safety they have in that secondary.
Missouri operating into that gusty breeze. Warm night, 72. Been a beautiful couple of days here in the capital of Nebraska. Daniel held on to it a long time and threw a floater intended for Jared Perry. Daniel's been sacked only once all year. He's very deep in that shotgun, deeper than the typical shotgun quarterback. And you mentioned that offensive line alignment, their splits are as wide or wider as any team you'll see.
Absolutely. Very similar to Texas Tech. And the reason he's that deep is, one, it's hard to get to him that deep. And the other thing, they want to run their routes to get 9 or 10-yard completions like that one.
They came after him, and he was still able to get it away. Crowd didn't think it was a catch for Tommy Saunders, the sure-handed senior from Kearney, Missouri. But it is ruled a catch.
Roughing the passer, defense number 98. Helmet-to-helmet contact. 15-yard penalty from the end of the play. Automatic first down.
Zach Potter guilty of the helmet-to-helmet hit.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they have to call that, but it's in the rules. But I don't fault my players for seeing what you hit and hitting what you see. Zach came in there. He's 6'7". Chase is about, or Zach's 6'5". Chase is about 6 foot. He bent his knees.
You don't blame him for a helmet-to-helmet hit?
He tried to bend down. I mean, things happen fast out there. You want to try to avoid it, but you know, it's a fast game. Hit him with your shoulder next time, I guess. All right.
Daniel up and down that wide offensive line. Handed it off. Washington patiently waiting for the hole to open. 31-yard line after a gain of 7. Let's check in with Rob Stone.
Guys, getting some hits on Chase Daniel, a massive priority for the Nebraska defense. Bo Pelini telling me pregame, hey, we're going to go unorthodox. We're going to send people because he knows what a hit on Daniel would do for the emotion of his defense. But, Chris, they're sending a lot of bodies and leaving some holes on the backside. Daniel got clocked on that touchdown.
And he tries to throw a little screen and does. Washington juggled it, but Derek hung on and has the first down. Yeah, Bo Pelini said, Missouri's unconventional, so we're going to be unconventional on defense, and we're seeing that. They're lined up all over the place.
Yeah, and you got to pick and choose when you come, because don't forget they're making adjustments up here in the booth, and they're going to be able to exploit it. The problem that Nebraska has is they can't match up athletically with their back end to Missouri's skilled position players.
And they have Pierre Allen, ordinarily a down defensive end, lining up all over the place. Daniel might have been deflected, but still caught by Chase Hoffman, the tight end. His team-leading 29th catch of the year. He's short of the first down at the 17-yard line. A pickup of 8. 8 minutes on the clock running remaining in the first quarter, tied at 7.
Some pressure was applied right there by Steinkühler. A nice playing defensive end. And I'll give it credit. Nebraska's pinning their ears back, and they're coming after him, disregarding any type of run.
Pressure off the corner. They'll hand off to the backup tailback, Jimmy Jackson. He was pulled down by Pierre Allen.
Getting chippy down there. I love it. Opening conference play. Macklin getting in it.
You do love it. You're advocating helmet-to-helmet contact. What else do you want him to do? Start eye gouging?
I'm not advocating helmet-to-helmet. I'm advocating seeing what you hit to stay healthy. Right there, Colbert and Macklin. Macklin's a fighter. I'm not just a pretty receiver. I'll fight you.
Third down and 3. Daniel lobs it to the sideline, and it is incomplete with a flag down. Intended for Denario Alexander. Anthony West had the coverage, and it might have been too tight.
Let's take a look right now, because I thought Anthony West did a good job of getting his head around and playing for the football.
Chase Daniel wants it ruled a catch and a touchdown.
See right here, there's Anthony West.
Pass interference. Defense. Number 5. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Got the left hand on the back. And if you're going to call it, then you're going to call it. But let's keep it consistent all night. It was close. You got to let them battle a little bit down there. And it's pass interference, like anything else, is subjective. But I like to see him let them battle.
had his left arm around him, but there was very little contact there. Well, another penalty that hurts the Huskers. First and goal, Missouri at the 3-yard line. Allen continuing to stand up and move around, but he didn't confuse them that time. Washington to the goal line. Touchdown.
Sean, they're going to have 5 yards anytime they want to run the football. It's just because they're outnumbering the front of Nebraska. And right there, you'll see big Ryan Madison pull around, and this is just easy pickings, just getting a helmet on somebody. And Derek Washington, with that head of steam, is going to find the end zone. Excuse me, Curtis Gregory knocking them over, leading the way.
One of the best linemen in the country, Curtis Gregory. Dave Christensen, the offensive coordinator, told us he'll play in the NFL someday. Washington with his 10th touchdown in the first quarter of his 5th game of the year. 10 touchdowns for the season for one of the leading scorers in the nation. And Wolfert's extra point made it 14-7 for the Tigers of Mizzou. Cast is available in high definition, brought to you by Pioneer. Missouri has had the ball twice, and the Tigers have scored twice. They had one stretch earlier this season when Daniel was at quarterback. They scored on 15 straight possessions. They're averaging just under 54 points per game. Only Tulsa has scored more, and they've averaged 1 point per game more. So Carl Pelini, the older brother of the head coach in Nebraska and the defensive coordinator for the Huskers, trying to find some answers. They've thrown some interesting looks out there, but it hasn't worked so far. No, and I think Missouri probably prepares for about every type of look they're going to get. Now, what I would do is I got to pick and choose when I'm going to go that 3 down lineman and 2 linebacker formation, because they're not having enough men in the box to defend and run. You got to pick and choose when you do that. You got to play a little bit of base defense against these guys, especially on running situations. Wolfert kicking off into that gusty breeze with a short kick. And it's run back to the 25-yard line. Alfonso Dennard was the 12-yard return. Monday Night Football. You'll see 2 of the most electrifying players in the backfield when Adrian Peterson and the Minnesota Vikings take on Reggie Bush and the New Orleans Saints. Monday Night Football on ESPN at 8:30 Eastern Time. The coverage begins at 7 with Monday Night Countdown delivered by UPS. Also one of the shorter quarterbacks in the NFL that's successful, so a lot of people questioning whether Chase Daniel could play in the NFL. Take a look at Drew Brees down there in New Orleans. This Chase Daniel at 6 feet tall, that might be a little generous. Joe Gans, a 6'1" quarterback, on target to Todd Peterson, the former walk-on who's had a very nice career here at Nebraska, got nearly 10. Senior out of Grand Island, Nebraska. Outstanding student, 3.76 GPA, 63 career catches, 3 times first team academic all Big 12 in nutrition, exercise, and health science. He's been working with a local chiropractor and thinks he might go to chiropractic school when he's done with his undergrad studies. Quentin Castile, the 3rd part of that trio of I-backs. He's a big guy at 6'1", 235 in there in short yardage and got the first down. Yeah, I can see why William Moore is talked about as one of the premier safeties in college football, 230 pounds. He took the big fella, lifted his legs up and drove him back. He's out of that mold of the Ed Reeds, Roy Williams, the tough guys. From Hayti, Missouri, he pronounced it for us yesterday. That's down in the southeast corner of the state in the Boot Hill. Gans, a play-action pass. It's a big part of their offense. Throws on the run, caught. Peterson again lowers his shoulder and runs over Justin Garrett. I love what Sean Watson is doing.
moving the pocket, getting Gans out on the run. And I've never seen a quarterback play as close to the line of scrimmage as he does. Here you see Peterson's route. It's a cover 2. The safety or corner comes off, and he works back to the football, understanding that his quarterback's on the run. Come back to help the route and help your quarterback, exactly what Peterson did.
Sean Watson, right of your screen. One of 2 holdovers from the Bill Callahan staff, retained by Bo Pelini. Marlon Lucky with a tough run, running through the contact of Castine Bridges, the cornerback. Both offenses impressive. And I think if you're a fan of these 2 teams, you have to be saying the flip side of that is neither defense has played particularly well so far this year, and it's not starting well for them tonight either.
You know, you can say that about a lot of the schools in the Big 12. Some of their defenses do struggle a little bit, but I like Nebraska because they're buckling up their chin straps and saying, we're old school, old cleats, old Nebraska, we're going to pound it, then hit you with the play action.
Missouri is 79th in the country in total defense. A lot of their wounds were inflicted by Illinois and Yelter. Lucky stopped for a loss by Ziggy Hood, a stalwart in that defensive front. Brock Christopher also in on the stop.
A lot of talent on both sides of the football. One thing that you will not see, and you see a lot of this around college football, both teams do not substitute their defensive linemen very often. Most teams that play 8 or 9, these guys stick with the same 4. We'll see if that wears them down as the game progresses.
On 3rd and 7. Into a lot of time. Has his man. First down. Nate Swift.
I'll tell you, Gans says Chase Daniel's not the only quarterback playing tonight. I think he's coming out, Sean, to try to prove a point. And the patience and poise in that pocket. He's not in a hurry to run. He lets the routes develop downfield, and he trusts his protection. And when he gets time, he's on time and on target.
Dan sometimes gets overlooked in this conference because there are so many outstanding quarterbacks. Shovel pass to Halou, and he earned those 4 yards, dragging defenders with him, including Tommy Chavis. This is the best quarterback league in the country. And Gans, the guy who doesn't usually get mentioned at the top of the list among Daniel and Colt McCoy, Sam Bradford. But Gans, in his 7 career starts, has thrown for 345 yards or more in 4 of the 7.
And it's amazing, but his numbers are going to be down a little bit this year because of the recommitment to running the football.
3 of the top 4 quarterbacks in the country in pass efficiency are in the Big 12. Timeout, Nebraska. They're on the move, trying to tie the game in the first quarter.
ESPN's College Football Primetime is presented by Hampton Hotels. At Hampton, we love having you here. And in part by the Phenomenal 4 from Mitsubishi. 4 cars, 4 cylinders, 0 compromises.
The homecoming parade here on the University of Nebraska campus. During the timeout, some of the great baseball stars in Nebraska history honored on the field. Jabba Chamberlain there raising his hand. Alex Gordon in the middle and Darren Erstad on the left with Coach Mike Anderson. Darren Erstad also played football here. Gans, a play-action pass. Nearly ran into his own lineman. William Moore couldn't get him, but finally they do. It's Tommy Chavis. Big play by the Missouri defense. The loss all the way back near the 33-yard line.
It's a good effort by Tommy Chavis, not giving up. Actually, the protection's not bad. He has time to throw the ball or run it. And this is where a poor decision comes on. Joe, throw it away. Do not take a sack. You're not a 3rd and long team. You're better, obviously, operating at 3rd and 6 as opposed to 3rd and 14 or 13.
3rd down and 14 now. Joe Gann's a former standout baseball player himself, and he gets drilled. Another sack. Second in a row. This one from Jerron Baston, the junior from Blue Springs, Missouri.
What that does, the defensive line starts running their stunts in games, or they pin their ears back and they say, I have a chance to make a sack right here. He just hits him with a nice little rip. You see the uppercut, the left uppercut, and they come off the block. The offensive linemen come off the block. The uppercut forces him through the hole, and he's able to finish. The Howie Long rip.
Jeremy Macklin back deep to receive the punt. We'll see if Dan Titchener punts it to him. Senior from Cheyenne, Wyoming, had one blocked for a safety last week against Virginia Tech.
It's because they forgot to block the end guy coming down the line of scrimmage.
It was just a flat whiff.
Delay a game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Still fourth down.
Whatever you want to do, you do not want to line the football. You want to get air under it to force him to fair catch. Or obviously down the ball inside the 10. But don't line it.
Macklin has 4 career returns for touchdowns, 2 punts and 2 kickoffs. Titchener able to hang it up high, and the fair catch made near the 10. Here's Rob Stone with Java Chamberlain.
Yeah, it's October. These Yankees aren't used to watching football games in October. You're a Lincoln native. What does it mean to be a Cornhusker fan on homecoming?
It's incredible, you know, to come back to all these fans, and the support that they give this community and this team is awesome. You can't describe when everybody asks me what Nebraska's like. I try to explain it to them, and you know, they got to come experience it for themselves.
What's better, Yankee Stadium or Memorial Stadium?
They're two one of a kind. As a fan of any sport, you need to go to both venues. I can promise you that much.
Thank you for your time, man. I appreciate it.
Thanks,
Good answer. He has to go back to the new Yankee Stadium next spring. Little swing pass. Macklin didn't get far. Lance Thurell plays in extra DB situations. There to get on Macklin quickly.
I'm waiting for Missouri to start airing it out a little bit. A lot of short passes. Maybe they're setting them up for the long one.
Second and 7. They go back to the run with Derek Washington. First-year starter as a sophomore. They think they might be better at running back this year, and that's saying a lot because Tony Temple rushed for over 1,000 yards each of the last 2 years.
And no disrespect to Tony, but I saw Missouri last year. I think they are better at running back. And one of the reasons is the versatility of Derek Washington. They line him up at wide receiver, and they trust him to run routes and catch the ball when it comes his way.
And that'll be the final play of the first quarter. Both quarterbacks excellent in the first 15 minutes. Daniel and the Tigers on the road leading the Cornhuskers 14-7 after 1. To ESPN College Football Primetime, presented by Hampton Hotels. Sean McDonough, Chris Spielman, Rob Stone. On we go to the second quarter. 3rd down and 2 for Missouri. Daniel throws, caught, first down. Jeremy Macklin swung down at the 26 by Matt O'Hanlon. They still haven't had a 3-and-out this season with Chase Daniel at the helm.
No, that's a matchup they want. Jeremy Macklin one-on-one with Matt O'Hanlon. Chase was looking for it all night, and they'll continue to look for it. And anytime they're in man coverage, number 9 is going to be the first go-to guy.
3 catches for Macklin for 70 yards. Now they hand it to him. His 9th rush of the year. Good for about 4. Here's Reese Davis.
Sean, Oregon suffered a little mini meltdown right before halftime. This Taco Bell studio update. After a turnover, Mark Sanchez made them pay. Patrick Turner barely getting into the end zone, and at the half, SC is up by 17 on the Ducks. Texas is cruising up by 4 touchdowns on Colorado. They get Oklahoma next week. Oklahoma a 49-17 win over Baylor. Fine day for Sam Bradford again. Texas and Oklahoma in the Red River rivalry next Saturday.
It's always special, and there'll be 2 teams on top of their games going head-to-head there. Philip Dillard, the middle linebacker, injured, junior from Tulsa, Oklahoma. Really their only returning linebacker with much experience this year. And he's walking off the field under his own power. It was a first quarter filled with offense. Nebraska had the decided edge as they wanted in time of possession, but it's hard to determine how much that means. Missouri has averaged only 26 minutes and 8 seconds of possession time this year. They're 115th in the nation in that category, but they're the second highest scoring team.
And that can skew some of the numbers of your defensive squad.
Daniel throws. Looked like Jared Perry might have stepped out of bounds, but apparently not. And they'll give him the 42-yard line. Tackled by Ricky Fenars. It's a gain of 13 for the junior from Lamar, Texas.
Nothing will drive Bo Pelini crazier than guys giving up hidden yards. Right there, you had Anthony West a chance to save 4 yards. You can't help Missouri. Believe me, they're good enough on offense. They don't need help.
Back to the run they go with Derek Washington. Down at the 46, a gain of 3. Washington had scored their first points in every game they played this season. He didn't do that tonight, but he did score their second touchdown. 3 receivers to the right. Daniel looks to the one-on-one coverage on the left, and it's a little bit too long. Intended for Denario Alexander. Coming back after knee surgery. An injury suffered in the Big 12 title game against Oklahoma last year and re-injured in the spring.
Well, this is one that Chase Daniel normally doesn't miss. He throws it to the outside shoulder. When you're over the top and there's no safety in sight, throw that ball a little bit inside and let him get it and go. Don't flirt with the sidelines.
Timeout called by Nebraska.
Nebraska. It is their second of the half. Number 2. Timeout.
Leaves them with just 1 timeout. 13:26 left till the half. 14-7 Mizzou. The attendance here tonight, 3rd largest crowd in the history of Memorial Stadium, 85,372. It includes Chuck Liddell. I mean, I thought you're the meanest, nastiest guy I know, but
well, the Iceman.
Tough.
Yeah, the Iceman cometh to Nebraska.
I think he was giving some signal to you. And there's another 3rd down conversion by Missouri on 3rd and 7. It's Chase Kaufman, the senior. Well, here is a size mismatch. Chuck Liddell is with Rob Stone.
Are you kidding me? I taught this guy everything he knows, man. You are not from Nebraska. You're from California. You're a business owner here in Lincoln. How did you get hooked up with the Cornhuskers?
To be honest, I grew up playing football in the 80s, you know, and they're a great team back then. I adopted them as a team back then. But here, one of my buddies moved back here, wanted to buy some bars. We got a couple bars in Lincoln, and so keep us connected with the team.
Our partner up in the booth, Chris Spielman, likes to think he's a tough guy. Do you think he can roll with you?
Yeah, I don't know, roll where? You want to go out to the bar or something? You want to have a drink or something? You don't want to fight me.
Spielman, that sounds like a challenge. You up for it, big man?
I don't get any, you know what, with a skunk.
Yeah. No, he's backing up. He's backpedaling up there.
We go drink. I'm drinking.
Oh, he'll train with you. He'll train with you, Chuck. I don't doubt that at all, buddy.
Get my buddy Mark Coleman on him.
2nd and 10. Little screen set up for Saunders, and he's smothered. Managed to make it into a gain of 1. Really have to admire Tommy Saunders, young man who came as a walk-on and through a lot of hard work has become a key member of this team and a team captain as a senior out of Kearney, Missouri.
Just another option that they have. I'll tell you, Nebraska, how you defend those quick screens, you get those defensive linemen reading it and running, Sean, just like they did here. Could be forcing Missouri into an unusual 4th down.
You know, the punters in the witness protection program in Missouri, Jake Harry, punted only once in each of the last 2 games. In field goal range now. Daniel under duress for one of the few times this season, and down near the line of scrimmage.
This is a good job of coverage downfield, forcing Chase to pull the ball down. Right here, they do a good job of coming and pressuring, constricting that pocket. Chase steps up, starts looking around, takes his eyes off the receivers downfield, and makes a good decision to get down and not absorb any punishment. It's a good choice by Chase. Smart football play right there.
Now Jeff Wilford has plenty of leg to make this one. 48 yards, and that strong breeze at his back. One of the best kickers in the country. That is perfect. Now 7 for 8 this year. 46 out of 53 in his career as a field goal kicker. He has never missed a kick in Big 12 play. PATs or field goals, now 91 for 91.
ESPN's College Football Primetime, brought to you by BMW, the ultimate driving machine, and Aflac. Ask about it at work.
Back in Lincoln, Nebraska, 10-point lead for Missouri, trying to win in Lincoln for the first time in 30 years. Jeff Wilford just gave them a 10-point lead. I mentioned the notes with his 3 successful kicks tonight, 2-point afters and a field goal. He's now made all 93 of his attempts in Big 12 play. In his 3rd year as the starting kicker, came to Missouri as a diver and booms that through the end zone with the wind at his back. He was on a partial, very partial diving scholarship. He told us yesterday he was just getting his books paid for, but was a soccer player growing up. Kicked for 1 game in high school, but broke his hip, made 1 out of 2 extra points, hurt his hip on a kickoff. That was the end of his kicking career for then, but always had the itch to kick, kept practicing when he got healthy. Walked into the coaches one day and said, I'd really like to be a kicker on your team. Gary Pinkel wasn't all that fired up about the idea because he didn't want the diving coach to think he was stealing one of his athletes. But they saw that he could kick. He spent a year in the program as a deep backup kicker, 5th string. In his 2nd year as a kicker, he was the kicker, and now he's one of the best in the country.
Yeah, and really a tremendous athlete.
Gans out throwing. It's a low throw. Caught for a short gain by Ryan Hill.
I know his favorite dive is the 2.5 twist, and I tried one of those one time, and I was on rest period for the rest of the time in the pool. You got to be able to move your body, and just you see it just looking at the kid. He's an athlete. He's a benefit to this football team.
His favorite dive is the 2.5, front 2.5 with 1 twist.
Yeah.
Off the 3-meter. Gans dumps it off, and it's dropped by Halou. Looked like they had a quick screen well set up. Here's Rob.
Well, guys, I spoke with Missouri dive coach Jamie Sweeney yesterday. He said Wilford was an unbelievable competitor, a diamond in the rough for the program, and he couldn't believe when he decided to make that change to football. In fact, his initial reaction was he laughed at him in the office. But huge mental and physical parallels between diving and kicking. Both are one-shot, precise, controlled activities. And as a diver, only really 2 things you work on physically: core body strength and your legs. Sounds a lot like a kicker, huh?
And it does require great concentration and focus, both skills, and you only get 1 shot at it. Gans going deep, has a man caught, first down. Menelik Holt out to the 43-yard line. Justin Garrett and True Vaughns combine to the tackle.
Here's what they do, Sean. They 3-layer them right here. They have a bunch formation. They have somebody in the flat. They have somebody sitting down inside, and of course you have the 7 route. And Joe Gans, with his patience, throws the ball nicely to Menelik Holt, who goes up and secures the ball with his hands and doesn't body catch it. Well executed, a good play call by Sean Watson. Flooding the field.
Back to the eye. Marlon Lucky couldn't turn the corner. Striker Shulock got behind that offensive line to help blow up the play, and Castine Bridges came up from his corner spot. Shulock ordinarily wears number 38, senior from Rockdale, Texas, wearing the number 25 tonight in memory of Aaron O'Neill, who would have been a senior member of the football team but passed away a couple of years ago. So the seniors have been taking turns honoring their fallen teammate by wearing his number 25.
I think that's a tremendous idea. It's awesome.
Second and 10. Gaines throws short. Nate Swift for about 3. Brock Christopher made the tackle. Made his 30th career start tonight.
He's the leader. He's the quarterback of that defense, making sure they get lined up. And I like what Missouri's doing as far as getting pressure. The adjustment that they made is they're starting to bring people from the wide side of the field to keep Joe Gans in the pocket. He's hurt him a little bit when they went outside. Now they're bringing pressure from the outside to the wide side.
Gans under pressure, running out of room, and throws it away. Chased to the boundary by Ziggy Hood.
To fight another down. Right here, he took the sack last time. This time they had a screen set up. Nothing there. Made the good choice of just slinging it across the line of scrimmage so you do not get the intentional grounding. Good job in Missouri recognizing the screen, taking it away.
Gans now 10 out of 12 passing. Kitchener punting into the breeze now. Let's see if he kicks it to Jeremy Macklin.
Don't do it.
He does. It's a line drive, and a fair catch made by Macklin. Prince Amukamara right in his face. 30-yard punt. That's your weekly dose of NFL news and analysis on ESPN Sunday. First at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, the crew discusses the wide receiver syndrome. Decides which wide receiver divas around the league are suffering from the condition. Greg Garber tries to make sense of the Washington Redskins run game and why they favor running to the left. 7 Eastern Time tomorrow night. Chris Berman and Tom Jackson with the highlights and scores on Sports Center. Jimmy Jackson straight ahead and into the arms of Zach Potter after a gain of 4.
It's a nice little setup right here. They bring Jeremy Macklin in motion, and even though he's not getting the football, he's slowing down the backside pursuit of the Cornhusker defense.
Daniel, a long time to throw, going very deep with the wind, and it's broken up. Excellent coverage by Armando Murillo, and he wants a flag, and so do these fans. It was intended for Demario Alexander. These fans were a little hot after last week's game. They thought they didn't get the benefit of a few flags against Virginia Tech from an ACC officiating crew, and they've been angered a couple of times tonight.
I think that was a good play. The offensive player, Alexander's just going for the football, but it was a matter of time before they were going to take their shot deep. But I would do it with the wind as opposed to, as you said, Sean, into that strong headwind.
Will this be their first 3 and out of the season with Chase Daniel? No. Kaufman to the 39-yard line.
This is tough right here. This is tough duty because of his size. You have Thorell on him right here. He's going to run right to the sticks and get outside. You can't match up with him. You can't give him that much room to work. On 3rd and 5, get up and challenge him and give yourself a shot. Don't give him a free run and a free route to get the first down.
3 catches for 39 yards now for Kaufman. 5-man rush going deep for Kaufman, and he makes a diving catch. He's a tight end with wide receiver ball skills, and he showed it with that layout right there.
Again, a big kid that can run, and there's the problem with the matchup. They have 2 guys on him, but both guys cannot be inside. Somebody's got to be outside. Look like his daddy there.
His dad, Paul Kaufman, fine tight end in the NFL, the Chiefs and Packers. After the 26-yard completion, nothing doing on the run for Jimmy Jackson. Zach Potter and Pierre Allen combined in the stop. Chase Kaufman said his dad taught him how to catch the ball in his hands.
I wonder if he did my drill. I taught my kids to catch with their hands.
He's throwing the ball as hard as you can at his head.
Yeah, throw the ball at their head. See, watch them hands come up. They'll use their hands.
Daniel on 2nd and 10, caught. Saunders driven back, but it looked like he had enough for the first down at the 24. It is an 11-yard gain. Here's Rob.
Very talented senior tight end class. Todd McShay of ESPN Scouting told me Kaufman the best route runner and most consistent pass catcher of all the tight ends, but he's only kind of a short intermediate route guy, lacks that elite speed. Right now ranked as the 3rd best tight end in his class, 2nd round draft grade right now.
I don't know there are too many better. The only thing I guess is maybe he can't stretch the field like Derek.
Washington reversed his field, had some running room. It has another first down inside the 10, out near the 7-yard line. Lance Thurell chased him out.
It's all about vision. You know, running backs, there's a lot of guys in high school that have skills as far as speed and strength, but this is what sets you apart. See the vision? His eyes went to the left. They lose contain, a breakdown in mental error, in my opinion. You can't ever have not contain. They didn't have contain. Washington exploited it.
On 1st and goal. Washington again. Banged around and Gang tackled after a gain of 1. They'll give him forward progress of a yard. Daniel would like the plays to come in a bit more quickly. They've been balanced. 14 runs and 16 passes.
That's what makes them so dangerous. Again, the athletes that they have, all Chase has to do is be the point guard and distribute to the playmakers. Overload left, get everybody running.
And some trickery. It's Macklin trying to turn the corner. He did, and he got down to the goal line, but not in. Matt O'Hanlon able to run him down.
Carried by number 9, Jeremy Macklin.
It'll be 3rd down and goal from inside the 1.
Everybody's lined up over here. Nobody here. This guy's the only one that has contained. Everybody else should be running to the football. You see they sneak up down inside. But a good job of Anthony West or Murillo coming over, turning it back in so the pursuit can get him. That's a nice little play call by Christensen, the offensive coordinator.
10th play of the drive, 3rd and goal in an empty backfield with Daniel in the gun. Looked like Nebraska wanted its last timeout of the half.
Timeout. Nebraska. There is the 3rd and final charge sheet, timeout and a half. Number 3.
They're trying a lot of new wrinkles, but they might be confusing themselves. Sean McDonough, Chris Spielman, Rob Stone back in Lincoln, Nebraska, where Missouri has not won in 30 years. They've lost 15 straight. Gary Pinkel says the last couple of years we've accomplished a lot of firsts, a lot of things that we haven't done as a football program in a long while. Trying to cross a big one off the list tonight, trying to pad a 10-point lead. 3rd and goal from the 1. Jimmy Jackson. Boy, it looked like they had a chance to tackle him behind the line. They did not. It's a touchdown. Interesting they had Jackson, the backup, in there. Well, it's Washington who's been scoring one rushing touchdown after another all year.
Right here, it's just the old Washington Redskin counter OT. Shukri Barfield actually has a chance to come in and make the play, but he doesn't flatten out. You have 2 pullers pulling from the backside and nobody's sealing the backside. The backside has to run and make the play, and they're too slow getting there because of the poor angle.
Wolford adds the extra point. And Missouri is starting to pull away. Jackson's 2nd rushing touchdown of his senior season. And it's 24-7. in favor of Mizzou. They had quite a team the last time they came here and won back in 1978, taking on then number 2 Nebraska. If we look at our All-State Good Hands flashback, Nebraska led through much of the game, had a 10-point lead in the second half. But Missouri's James Wilder, one of the most memorable runs in school history, bowling over defenders, batting one out of the way on his way into the end zone. 35-31 the final. Wilder finished with 181 yards rushing, 4 touchdowns. It was such a long time ago. These were some of the things that were happening back then.
I caught James. Yeah. 62 cents. I can live with that now. I actually caught James at the end of his career, played against him and played with him in Detroit. Just a tremendous football player and a better human being. Really a neat guy.
I mentioned they had quite a team. Kellen Winslow was on that team. He had 6 catches for 132 yards in that game. Phil Bradley, who went on to fame as a Major League Baseball player, was the quarterback. Warren Powers, the head coach. And they haven't won since, and most of their 15 losses since have been one-sided. It's a 17-point lead for the Tigers, and Wolford's kickoff with the gusty breeze goes about 8 yards deep into the back of the end zone. No chance for Niles Paul to run it out.
The problem Nebraska has, talking to Sean Watson, remember coming into the ball game, they wanted to deflate the football, reestablish the power running game. Well, when you're down 17, you don't have the choice. You're in trouble. You got to air the ball out if you want to get back into it, and they're not built to air it out.
And realistically, the thing that they've done well in recent years is throw the football. They're one of the best passing teams in the country last year, 7th in the nation. 324 yards per game, a school record. This won't help.
Offense, number 67. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Jacob Hickman.
You don't see that on the center very often, do you?
No. He was a guard last season, moved to center this spring for Coach Pelini. Missouri's most recent scoring drive, 10 plays, 75 yards, has taken the crowd out of it now. And they're trying to get that run going, and nothing doing for Roy Halou. Crowd thinks that was a little unnecessary. Wiggy Hood, Striker Shulock, stacked up with the ball carrier.
Right there, you see the experienced Striker Shulock coming off the defensive end, and Striker came high. Not too high, Striker, just right, Striker. He comes in and look at that, beats the offensive tackle off the line of scrimmage and is able to close. Excellent athletic ability of change of direction for Striker.
Castile again, and he slides for 2 more. Now he's slow to get up.
Missouri,
Sean Weatherspoon.
Sorry, Sean, I think it was Missouri, and they're doing it right now. You get the timeout, so you have time to get the ball in your hands and score again.
I think it was just a few seconds. That's enough time to score. 2 timeouts left for Coach Pinkel and the Tigers with 3:09 to go in the half. Last week in the loss to Virginia Tech, Nebraska averaged 2.2 yards per rush. You didn't think it could get worse, but it has tonight. They've run 12 times for a total of 4 yards rushing. A couple of short runs after a penalty, and now it's 3rd and 14. Gaines almost all the way back to the end zone. Throws on the run, and it's intercepted. And run back for a touchdown by Brock Christopher.
This is what zone pressure will do for you. William Moore will come from the inside and force Joe Gans to roll to his right. You'll see Brock Christopher right here just follow the quarterback into his zone. Take a look. Right there's William Moore. Forcing the ball outside with Baston. Brock Christopher just reading his eyes. Thank you very much.
Wow.
I'll take 6. Throw it away, Joe. Throw it away.
Christopher knows what to do with the ball. He was a first-team All-State running back in high school at Kearney in Missouri. Helped them win back-to-back state titles. 17-yard interception return, and the extra point by Wolford makes it 31-7 Missouri. Still 3 minutes to go until halftime. Time now for the Aflac trivia question. The duck missed his cue there.
It's moving a little slow tonight. Big meal.
Nebraska holds the record. 294 straight sellouts, including this one tonight. What year did the streak start? And against which team? If they're paying attention at the top of the telecast, although the top of the telecast was an ESPN Classic because the Auburn Vanderbilt game ran a little bit long, so they might have missed it, but we did mention the year that the streak began.
Yes, we did. Did you come up with that question?
No, I did not, but I know the answer.
There's not too many answers that you don't have with the Aflac. You're usually pretty good on top of them.
Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah. Because you make them up, but
Chuck Liddell's going to meet you in an alley after the game or not. Ball blew off the tee, so Wolford will start it again.
I got you and Rob to protect me.
We'll give them a clue. It was Bob Devaney's first year as head coach at Nebraska. You know, a lot of times, another clue. There's a tie-in, sort of. It relates to the game that we're doing. Is that enough of a clue for most of America, do you think?
Yeah, I think they can get it.
Which team did it start against?
Yeah, I think they got that part.
Not a boomer that time with the wind. And it's Niles Paul, who's a dangerous return man. And he lugged it to the 31. Here's Reese Davis.
Sean, coming up at halftime, Mark May and Lou Holtz will join me. We'll talk about the SEC, the East, which has been turned upside down by the fellas in gold. Also look ahead to the Texas-Oklahoma clash next week. Both sides tuning up rather easily on Saturday. And what a day Graham Harrell put up, just one of the many multiple weapon quarterbacks in the Big 12, putting up huge numbers. We'll talk about it at halftime.
Yeah, these two tonight putting up numbers as well. Chase Daniels already passed for 175 yards. Gans has thrown for 121. He's cooled a bit after the quick start. Marlon Lucky, the ball carrier. Ziggy Hood, Luke Lambert made the tackle. Sam Bradford passed for 372 for Oklahoma in their rout at Baylor today. And Texas Tech, 58 more points. They're the leading passing team in the country. Todd Reesing brought Kansas from 20-0 down at the half to beat Iowa State.
Yeah, every quarterback in the league, even young Robert Griffin out of Baylor, they're all good play. And most of them can run the football. Even Sam Bradford moves around that pocket well enough. He's the most accurate passer in the Big 12. That's saying something.
Gans throws short, and Ryan Hill, the freshman tight end, is chopped down immediately by Brock Christopher. Nebraska does not have any timeouts left here, and we have under 2 minutes to play till halftime. And Hill's going to limp off.
I'm surprised Missouri's not using their 2 timeouts to drive the stake, get the ball back. Doesn't take them, like you said, it doesn't take them long to score.
I think they'll use one here if they stop him on 3rd down without it being an incompletion that stops the clock. Nebraska would have to punt into the wind. Weatherspoon on a blitz. Gans got it off to Todd Peterson. First down, out of bounds near the 47-yard line. Chased out by Hardy Ricks, a backup defensive back. 17 yards on the completion to number 17.
Joe Gans did a good job of recognizing the zone pressure, and the weakness of the zone pressure is the flats. Both flats on both sides of the field. Joe just had to throw a little fadeaway to avoid the hit from Weatherspoon, but did a nice job of delivering.
Gaines steps into the throw and finds Mike McNeil for another first down. He's a Missouri native from Kirkwood, longtime pal of Jeremy Macklin. They visited several schools together, including Nebraska. Macklin elected to go to Missouri after originally committing to Oklahoma, and McNeil came here, but they stay in regular contact. McNeil said during the week that it's Macklin who's doing most of the smack talking right now because of the status of the two programs at the moment. Juggling catch by Menelik Holt, and then he got out of bounds with a first down at the 23-yard line. The answer to the Athletic Trivia question: what year did the consecutive sellout streak start for Nebraska here at Memorial Stadium? Against which team? It was 1962. And the opponent was Missouri. November 3rd of '62. A Missouri win.
In this atmosphere, we were here last week and here again this week. This is one of the great venues in college football. There are a lot of them around the country, don't get me wrong, but this place, there's something special about it.
Well, it's a classic old stadium that is beautifully maintained, and the fans are tremendous. We mentioned last week we were here for Virginia Tech. They arrive early. I mean, everybody's in their seat watching the band well before kickoff. They're enormously supportive of their team, and yet they do it in a classy way. I remember Hugh Millen, the former Washington quarterback, telling me when Washington played here, they won, and the fans were applauding them on the way off the field for a good performance.
Yeah, and very knowledgeable of the game. And you should, in the hotel, people come up to me, hey, what do we need to do defensively? I think we need to go to this coverage. What do you think, Chris? And they care, and they're passionate.
They do need to work on their spelling. First and 10. And the catch made by Nate Swift, and he's out of bounds, and the crowd trying to get back into it. Carl Geddes pushed him out of bounds, short of the first down at the 16-yard line.
I really like Nate Swift, Sean. I think he's solid. He's got an NFL future.
He runs a 4.5 40, very short-handed. That pass is short, intended for Niles Paul. Now 3rd and 3, 43 seconds to go in the half. No timeouts left for Nebraska.
You see Missouri's defense will start to tighten up right now. Why? They have a 12th defender, that end line of the end zone, and look for him to bring pressure. I would come with my zone pressures and keep the ball in front of you. Make Nebraska use the clock and take away the outside.
Gaines throws, caught. Was it inbounds? Yes. And then out of bounds with a first down goes Menelik Holt at the 11-yard line. 39 seconds to go.
Recognition of the zone pressure coming from the offensive left. Just delivered to the weakness of that zone pressure, was to the backside of the defense. To your right. Good job of Holt getting his feet down.
Pushed out by Castine Bridges. Though Pelini knows his team desperately needs a score here in the final seconds of the half. Gaines zings one quickly. It seemed to be too quick for Peterson, who was handcuffed by it.
He's circling his finger there. He says, get your head around, Peterson. Get your head around, because I have white shirts and black helmets in my face, so the ball's coming quick. Get your head around so I can deliver you the football. Peterson was caught surprised. Understand it's coming.
Peterson's playing with 5 stitches in his chin. He got his chin split open by a helmet against Virginia Tech last week. He said that's happened 4 or 5 times in his career. Down the middle, batted down, and almost caught by Lucky on the ricochet. It's better for Nebraska. It fell to the ground. And it'll be 3rd down and 10, 31 seconds to go in the half.
Lucky you got to bet it down. McNeil beat Moore in one-on-one coverage. Look for him to come back to that. If they're going to blitz again and play man-to-man, look for the McNeil-Moore matchup, because McNeil had him. And that ball got batted, or it'd be 6 points.
Go to McNeil, who's been a touchdown maker. He started the night with 6 catches for the year, 3 of them for touchdowns. 3rd and 10. Gaines dumps it off over the head of Lucky. Off balance throw by Gaines. And the field goal unit will come on.
I agree with that. You have to make it a 3-possession ball game. Get points, get a reward, so you have some type of momentum, albeit a little momentum, going into the locker room at halftime.
We mentioned the astounding accuracy statistics for Wolford. Alex Henry 6 out of 7 this year, 14 out of 15 in his career. In field goals, kicked the longest of his career last week, a 48-yarder. That's an easy one for him, 28 yards. And Nebraska now down 31-10. 12-play drive with Joe Gans and the Cornhuskers disappointed that ended with just a field goal. They're still down by 21 to Missouri as we approach halftime. Jeremy Macklin hoping for a chance to do something electrifying.
I got to believe that Nebraska's not going to give him that opportunity. I'd even high pop shot. I wouldn't even squib it, because a lot of times a squib kick, if a team is well coached, lets the ball go to the return guy or the deep guy.
It is Macklin. And he brought it out to the 35. And Mukamara made the tackle. 22-yard return for Macklin. The average is 31 per return. There is a flag down on the field.
The offsides usually on that call.
Offside. Remember, the kicking team, number 24. Missouri has elected to have 5 yards added to the end of the run. First down.
Well, that's interesting. With as dangerous as Macklin is, wouldn't you like to give him another shot?
Well, I think what you have, the one timeout, you got the middle of the field open, you got the wind behind a strong-legged kicker's back. You take your shot to the middle of the field. Let's see if they do that.
And this field position is pretty good here at the 40. Daniel has Macklin. He goes out of bounds at the 47-yard line. We talked to Jeff Wolford yesterday. He said, what's the extent of your range? He said, well, I made a 59-yarder in practice live. Yeah. It's the rush with the live snap and the whole operation. That was earlier this week. And he has a gusty wind at his back right now.
I think that was a good decision why they took the 5 yards. 11 seconds, one timeout left. The whole field's in play, including the middle for Chase Kaufman right here.
Daniel throws off the hands of Macklin and incomplete.
I think that was a misroute, Sean. You had Chase Kaufman bringing his coverage to Macklin. They almost collided in the middle. Jeremy's got to settle down a little bit. That was a zone defense. You don't run across the zone. You set it down in the zone. Still plenty of time.
Chase Daniel with the signals. Throws short to the 41. Well, he said he made a 59-yarder in practice the other day. This would be 58 yards with the wind, so they're going to try it. Rob.
On that wind, 30-mile-per-hour gust at times coming up here. Kickers telling me there's probably about a 10-yard swing in distances advantageously going the way that Missouri's trying to kick right now because of the wind that comes out of the tunnel that is at the back of the Missouri kicker right now.
This would be a 59-yarder. He has the leg to do it. It's the longest attempt of his career. He's never missed a kick in Big 12 play, and it's a streak that's going to end on a low percentage try. And you've only missed one kick in your career in the league, and it was on a 59-yarder. That's not too shabby. So Missouri heads off with a comfortable halftime lead, 31-10 at Nebraska. Let's head back to the studio with a Pontiac G6 halftime report.
All right, Sean, thank you very much. 31-10. Tigers, very impressive. Lou Holtz, Mark May alongside. Simple question. I know there are a lot of good offenses even in that conference. is Missouri's the best in the country?
No, not at all. I think in their conference they're probably third behind Texas Tech and behind Oklahoma because Oklahoma has a better offensive line and a better running attack.
They're better in Nebraska's defense, that's all I'll say.
They're not going to earn those black shirts back tonight. Not trying to slow down Chase Daniel and the guys. Big-time lead at the break. 3 touchdowns for the Tigers. Still to come here at halftime. We'll tell you what else went on in the Big 12. Some banner offensive days on all fronts and also get you up to date in the SEC, the Shocker.
This halftime report is powered by the G6 from Pontiac, official performance machines of the NCAA.
This telecast is available in high definition, brought to you by Pioneer. As we welcome you back to Lincoln, Nebraska Memorial Stadium, sold out. Let's take a look at our game track as the second half is about to begin. Jeremy Macklin, a presence as always, 89 yards receiving and a long touchdown. 58-yarder from Chase Daniel, who was his usual productive and efficient self. Daniel went 14 out of 19. Nebraska trying to establish the run. They could not. They rushed for 7 yards the entire first half. Sean McDonough and Chris Spielman. And the numbers continue to be amazing for Missouri. They came into this game for the season with Chase Daniel at the helm, having scored on 26 out of 40 possessions. They scored on 4 out of 5 tonight, and the only miss was the field goal at the end of the half.
What's as good as advertised? And Chase Daniel, Jeremy Mack, Chase Kaufman, Derek Washington, they're all getting involved, and they're all producing like they always produce. It doesn't matter if it's against Buffalo, Southeast Missouri State, or Nebraska. They're the same football team. We're seeing it here tonight, live and in person. It's an impressive show.
Well, Bo Pelini spent a lot of time coming up with a game plan, a lot of interesting defensive alignments. What else can he do? I mean, where do you go to plan B? Is there a plan B?
Well, I don't know if you have a plan B, but I think what you have to do is try to take your shots now. You got to try to get back in the ball game, create turnovers. The only way to do that is get pressure, and hopefully Chase makes a poor decision, which he hasn't done in about 2 years.
Nebraska has the ball first. Niles Paul brought back the Wolford kickoff. And the Missouri players saying they have the ball. The officials are conferring. There really hasn't been a definitive signal here yet.
Debate going on down there.
Was fumbled and recovered by the kicking team. First down.
When exactly did they make that ruling?
I don't know if the ball was fumbled. It looked like to me the ground caused the fumble. Of course, the ground can't cause a fumble, but Niles was holding that ball a little bit loose. He's got to secure that football because they'll see that replay or they'll talk about that and say, hey, start striking that football. You're sure to knock it out of there.
I think this is going to be reviewed. Quite frankly, I think the officials whiffed on that one a little bit because nobody made a call. They got together and talked and then decided what the call was. But if there was a ruling on the field, somebody would have signaled immediately it was Missouri ball. And I think they knew the replay was behind them, so
yeah,
make some call and then let the replay straighten it out and get it right.
You see the space right there, that ball being loose. He's reaching for extra yardage. Down. There it squirts out. Easy review for the boys next door.
Kenja Jackson recovered the ball for Missouri. It did look like Paul was down.
That's one way that you don't want to start after, I think, getting it handed to you in the first half. You want to come out, fight, and this Nebraska team will fight. I mean, that's one thing that Bo Pelini's instilled, is that we're not going to quit or give up. They'll continue to play hard, but they can't keep making these mistakes.
Because quite frankly, that was a question that some Nebraska followers had in recent years. Did they always fight all the way to the end? And they had a couple of ugly games last year. They gave up 76 points to Kansas, 65 to Colorado.
No, Not when you give that many points up to teams. I think obviously you have to question effort, and you don't like to do that. And the only way I'm going to do it because of the score, but I'd have to confirm it by watching the film and grading guys' effort individually.
Bo Pelini was here as an assistant in 2003 for 1 year under Frank Solich. Solich was dismissed before the Alamo Bowl. Bo Pelini was the interim coach. There was speculation he might get the job full-time. We asked Bo about that the other day. He said, I really wasn't all that concerned about it because I didn't think the job should have been open in the first place. We won 9 games. Frank Solich was doing a good job. We wound up winning a 10th in the bowl game. And he said, when I left Nebraska, I never thought I would be back here again. But Tom Osborne came back as the athletic director and turned to Pelini to try to get the program back where Husker Nation thinks it should be.
Well, and I think Bo will do a good job, and I just hope these great fans here in the state of Nebraska are patient. He has to build this football team. Nebraska has to recruit from all over the country, Sean. There's not a big high school base right here. So he's got to go get them, and it's going to take time to do that, and he'll get it done. Just be patient if you're a Husker fan.
And this is taking a very long time. We have indications from our truck, our producer Josh Hoffman, that this call is going to be overturned. They're just wondering where they should spot the ball, and it will go back to Nebraska. But this is one time where the process with the original call and now in the replay really is not working the way it was intended to.
After review, the ruling on the field is reversed. The player was down in his fumble. First down, Nebraska on the 23-yard line.
Good job by the boys on the booth. Getting it right. Taking their time, but they're getting it right.
Just to go back to what we were saying, it obviously is all about talent. You know, back in the days before they went down to 85 scholarships, Nebraska was a stockpile of players. You can come to practices where they have 6 or 7 fields filled with players, a lot of them walk-ons. And with the reduction in scholarships, a lot of players decided to go somewhere else. Bo Pelini was saying, in a big year of high school football in the state, Nebraska might have 4 or 5 in-state top prospects, and that's it. They've always gone elsewhere to places like Texas and California, New Jersey back in the day with Irving Fryer and Mike Rozier, Castile the ball carrier. But they have players from 25 different states on their roster right now.
And the walk-on program is a great thing, and it's a tradition, and it's important. But I'm telling you, you can't have 5 or 6 former walk-ons starting for you because it's just, you need the star players. You need the star high school players. And there's a place for them, but not too many of them.
Milton Castile again. He's 2 yards short of the first down. Here's Reese Davis.
Sean, I want to show you guys how Wisconsin and Ohio State came to a close after Terrell Pryor's touchdown put the Buckeyes up by 3. Badgers trying to rally. Under a minute to go. Allen Everidge kind of puts it up for grabs. Malcolm Jenkins, he'll take that, and that is Bielema's first loss at Camp Randall, 20-17. Ohio State gets it done on the big road stage.
Terrell Pryor proving he can do it on the road under pressure in the conference.
Castile carries for the first down. Well, they've been trying to get the run game going, so now they're going to try option number 3. And the bits that we've seen of Castile in person the last 2 weeks and on tape, you got to like him too. He's a big guy and he runs hard.
Yeah, and again, he brings that size dimension. And they don't have one eye back, excuse me. They have 3, and all that tells me is that they don't have one that has yet to stand up and say, "This is my job. Give me the rock." So they're still kind of auditioning.
You would think Lucky would be that guy. I mean, he's way up there all time in a number of the statistical categories among some of the great rushers that they've ever had here. Castile carries for 3. Bo Pelini, and many of the Husker fans wanted a face mask that they're not going to get. The tackle was made by Del Howard.
Well, I think with the I-back position, Sean, and one of the things that I know that running backs like, they want to get into some type of rhythm, and when you're running in and guys in and out all the time, it's tough for that I-back to get a feel for the game and to get the rhythm. Give one guy a shot and let him see what he can do.
Ends on a designed rollout. Has Todd Peterson. He's chopped down by William Moore. But that's another first down. And this is what they had in mind from a game plan standpoint. Run and pass and keep possession of the football. That's an 8-yard game.
Yeah, and they're doing it by setting up second and third down. Manageable second and third downs. But it all starts with the run. And they're going to keep working on this. Talking to Sean Watson, they recommitted themselves to being a power running football team. You just can't do it overnight. You got to get that attitude and mentality, and they'll do it. As the year goes on, they'll get better at it.
Roy Halou in at running back now, and Sean Weatherspoon made the tackle. We enjoyed our chat with Weatherspoon yesterday. Very likable young man. He's known as the vocal leader on the team. He admitted that Chase Daniel says he's obnoxious. You're not really the vocal leader of the team. You're just obnoxious. Always talking. You're in the stretching, every team function.
Yeah. He said, I hope he meant it in a good way. I think he meant it in a good way. I know one thing. He's a football player. He's an excellent linebacker. Fine instincts and he's a good tackler. He finishes well.
The small town of Jasper, Texas, near the Louisiana border. There's a flag for a late hit. Niles Paul caught it. And then some inappropriate contact along the near sideline. Luke Lambert there, Justin Garrett.
It's going to be holding, I think, Sean.
Holding.
Oh.
Offense number 1.
Well, it surprised me and the crowd. They all cheered when they saw that late flag. And instead, it's a hold against Chris Brooks.
I'm trying to get a little bit of speed right there. And Chris Brooks, young player, trying to get a block, help his buddy. I see his hands up on those shoulders. His hands got to be inside on the numbers and on the breastplates, not on top of the shoulder plates. Getting them on the breastplates, and you can hold all you want inside. When his hands are outside that box or that shoulder box, they'll call it every time.
That backs them up to the 39-yard line. Second and long. Shovel pass. Halou bounces off a couple of hits. That's an indication of why he's become a fan favorite. Tommy Chavis made the tackle.
Right there's an example of why I think you need to get one guy, let him go a little bit. Let him get 15 or 20, 25 touches a game and see what he can do, and let him develop a rhythm throughout the ball game. Instead of running guys in and out all the time, it's tough for those guys to get in the rhythm and get in the flow.
And we've had the ball for more than 4.5 minutes, and they're not yet across midfield. 3rd down and 7. Joe Gans has some running room, has a receiver, has a first down. Menelik Holt, now a flag down, and you saw the hat fly as well. You wonder if he went out of bounds and came back in.
And as soon as that hat goes down, that's what the official uses to mark the fact that he went out of bounds.
Illegal touching. Offense number 8. The player went out of bounds voluntarily, came back in, was first to touch the ball. Lost it down at the previous spot. 4th down.
See, I don't understand that. I mean, he's a junior. You have to be aware of where you are on the football field. You got to understand and see the field and have awareness and control of your feet to stay in bounds and stay alive.
So that's a drive ender. Now here's Dan Titchener to punt to Jeremy Macklin.
Danger.
Yes, if you're just joining us, Titchener is punting into a stiff wind that has gusted up to 30 miles an hour tonight. This one is sideways. That didn't go 10 yards. They're still trying to spot it. They're going to mark it at the 48. A 6-yard punt. Welcome back to ESPN College Football Primetime, presented by Hampton Hotels. Officially a 3-yard punt for Dan Titchener. Ball marked at the 48. First possession of the second half for Missouri. They scored on 4 of their 5 offensive possessions in the first half. Chase Kaufman again with great hands, even as he took a lick from Anthony West. Let's look at the up-to-date stats brought to you by Toyo Tires. And I think Missouri is helping to dispel the notion that time of possession is important in college football, because they're near the bottom in the country in that stat. And they've had it for only 13 and change tonight.
Yeah, it's not important if you can score 52 a game. The impressive thing, though, is this run by Derek Washington, but also the fact that they have 0 penalties. And that tells me they're a well-coached, disciplined football team.
And they are well coached. Second in the country in points per game. Only Tulsa scoring more, and they have averaged 1 point per game more this season entering this weekend. And they're the bottom in time of possession. But they're number 2 in passing offense, number 2 in total offense, and number 2 in points scored. Of course, last year they won a school record 12 games. Hammered Arkansas in the Cotton Bowl, and they were 90th in the country in time of possession. Washington trying to break free. It took a long time for the Huskers to get them down. They finally did at the 10-yard line. 29 yards on the run for Washington.
I love guys that are one cut and go. One cut and go. Again, Washington, watching him on film, not an overly big guy, but a powerful guy with strong legs and good vision.
He's up to 95 yards rushing now on 11 carries. Came in averaging 6.8 per rush for the year. He's in trouble this time. Good work by Ricky Tenarce up from his safety spot. Philip Dillard also in on the play, and Zach Potter, and a loss of a couple.
You know, being a defensive coordinator, what a nightmare to prepare for this football team. Who are you going to take away? Macklin? And they say, fine, we'll go to Kaufman. We'll take away Kaufman. Fine, we'll go to Saunders. But guess what we'll do? We'll also run the football down your throat with Derek Washington. Well balanced. Difficult to stop.
Second and goal. Daniel. Incomplete. Kaufman just turned to the official and said that has to be a flag. Tough to cover him with a linebacker, and that's what Philip Dillard was trying to do.
Yeah, great point, Sean. I mean, Chase is not even looking around the field. He understands Chase Kaufman.
Holding. Offense, defense number 52. 10-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Is matched up with Dillard. And when you see Chase's eyes, his eyes never go off of Chase Kaufman. Here's Dillard right here. It's a little man-to-man. And Chase is just biding time, trusting his offensive line. A little out and up, and Dillard did the right thing. He was beat deep. Go ahead and grab him and prevent the 6.
8th penalty of the night against Nebraska. That remains a problem for the Cornhuskers. First and goal. Jimmy Jackson swallowed up by Zach Potter.
You know, they got a bootleg off this anytime they want it. Fake that little handoff with both linemen pulling, because Nebraska's crashing your backside defensive end to cut that play off. If Chase keeps it and rolls to the right, he'll have the option to either run or throw anytime they want it. Just keep your eye on that.
Chase Daniel finished 4th in the Heisman Trophy balloting last year, the first Missouri finalist. And we believe he's the favorite to win the award right now. There's a lot of football to be played. And he didn't like what he saw and called a timeout. Midway through the 3rd quarter, Missouri still leads Nebraska 31-10.
ESPN's College Football Primetime, brought to you by Hummer, like nothing else, and ESPN Game Plan. See the most college football every Saturday. To order, call your pay-per-view provider.
Not a happy homecoming so far for Husker Nation. Nebraska down by 21. And Missouri knocking on the door again. 2nd and goal from the 7. The crowd half-heartedly trying to make it a little more difficult here for Chase Daniel. Beautiful call against that blitz, and it's a touchdown for Derek Washington.
You don't know what to do against them. You're right. You're exactly right. They anticipated the blitz. It comes from your right side right here. And what do they do? The open screen to the area. Lyman getting downfield, clearing away, and Derek Washington with patience. Lyman lead him in the end zone. That's a beautiful sight if you're Derek Washington and if you're a Missouri Tiger fan.
So Washington continues to find the end zone with great regularity, among the nation's leading scorers. And Wilford adds the extra point. One of the areas where Nebraska was particularly abysmal last year defensively was in the red zone. Their opponents scored 92% of the time when they got into the red zone. And we talked last week, Chris, that number was down in the 50s, much improved heading into last week against Virginia Tech. But Virginia Tech scored all 6 times they got in the red zone last week in their win here. And tonight, Mizzou 3 for 3.
Yeah, and they'll continue to get better once Bo gets his schemes in, and the kids see right there. That's a problem when you have coaches talking to players after a big play. Usually that indicates somebody had a mental error. Coaches can live with physical errors now and then. The one thing that gets under the skin more than anything is mental errors, especially against Missouri. If you have mental errors against them, they'll make you pay, and they make you pay a big price than 6 points.
Well, obviously the defense had to be changed and fixed, but might they be trying to do too much too soon? I mean, does it need to be more of a process?
Well, I think I asked Bo about that, and that's a great question. And Bo said, Chris, I can't make it any simpler. And the problem that they have is that you have these kids, and a lot of kids can do it in practice 1,000 times right. When the lights come on and the big red gets rolling and ESPN's here, they have mental bust, and that's been a problem with their defense all year. And it just takes experience, and you got to keep repping it.
Well, that's scary if you can't make it any simpler, because they're obviously having a difficult time grasping what they're doing right now. Here's Niles Paul with a nifty return out to the 38. Let's check in again with Rob Stone.
All right, speaking of nifty, how about the Heisman campaign run by Missouri for Chase Daniel? Yeah, they got a website and a weekly teleconference. They also made 2,500 of these old school babies. Remember these guys, the viewfinders? You pop your ears in there and your eyes and you watch Scooby-Doo or Captain Caveman. It's all these pictures of Chase with Chris Fowler and Lee Corso and company. Sent out 2,500 of these. And Chris, I know these have been a big hit in your household.
Yeah, right? Exactly. I brought my kids. I said, look at this thing. It's a Viewmaster. And they looked at me, what's that, Daddy? And they said, you don't remember these? No, we weren't born. But they loved it. They said, who's the football player? Is that you? I said, no, that's Chase Daniel, Missouri.
You know, those were high tech when we were kids. With today's toys
Prior
for
to
kids,
the snap,
not
false
so
start.
much.
Offense number 61, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Sean, we were talking. I think it's a great campaign and cheap. I mean, that's got to be cheaper to make 2,500 of those things than to get the billboard in Times Square.
And they have the different little slides
Yeah.
that you can slide into the slot, so you're not watching the same thing over and over again. You can learn a lot about Chase Daniel.
And they better start putting some slideshows of Jeremy Maclin in there, too.
That's another thing that Nebraska needs to get fixed. 10 more penalties tonight. Gans throws it out wide for Peterson. Nice run after the catch, kept his balance, and made his way to the 43-yard line. On ESPN.com right now, our panel of experts has Chase Daniel leading the Heisman race ahead of Sam Bradford, Javon Ringer, Max Hall, and Colt McCoy. 3 Big 12 quarterbacks in the top 5.
Javon Ringer got shut down today by Iowa's defense. Although Michigan State won the ball game, he was outshined by Sean Green of Iowa at over 150 yards.
There's Marlon Lucky, banged out of bounds near the first down marker by Del Howard. I'm sure you have 5 Ohio State Buckeyes in your top 5 right now.
No, not yet. I think Chase Daniels absolutely should be in there. And again, I love Chase Daniel. I think he's a great quarterback. But Sam Bradford, to me, is the best quarterback in the country. He put up 372 yards. And I'll put Jeremy Maclin up there, 193 yards a game. That's Heisman worthy.
Castillo bounced off the pile. Went backward for a moment and then kept going. Yeah, I like Chase Daniel right now. But Donald Brown, who's going to give him some love? He started the day leading the nation in rushing 181 yards per game. He had 161 more tonight in their loss to North Carolina. And then Bradford.
I mean, all those guys are up for consideration. It's still very early.
Personal foul. Defense number 34. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
First penalty of the night against Mizzou. Has Gary Pinkel agitated. It's against Brock Christopher, the veteran middle linebacker, senior from Kearney, Missouri.
What happened was I saw Nebraska offensive lineman blocking through the whistle, which is fine. Brock Christopher didn't like it. Came up and defended one of his teammates, Luke Lambert, who was taking a beating from the lineman.
Castile broke a tackle or two and ducked down to the 29-yard line. Of course, a lot of the Heisman Trophy stuff gets sorted out because you win. And Chase Daniel said that's the most important thing. We need to keep winning. Certainly the numbers are important, but the winning is key as well.
Well, I think with this offense and the playmakers around Chase, numbers are always going to be there. And I got a hard time believing that a lot of people are going to outscore this Missouri offense.
Castile lowers his shoulder, but chopped down by Castine Bridges. Missouri trying to go to 5-0 for the third straight year. It's a tough schedule. This is an excellent conference. Oklahoma State obviously much improved. Texas rolling right along.
Zach Robinson at Oklahoma State put up huge numbers today against Texas A&M.
Gary Pinkel seems to have a team capable of winning the national championship. Hands a good play action fake. And then he runs. Bridges chased him out. And it's a first down for Nebraska inside the 20, Rob.
Sean, that's one of the things Gary Pinkel was worried about at halftime. He told me coming out of the locker room, hey, we got to contain Gans. You know, he makes so many plays when he feels outside. A couple other things he said. You know, he's well aware of the comeback that Nebraska put on Virginia Tech last week. Granted, it wasn't enough, but he reminds him, guys, we got to finish. We got to play hard because this Nebraska team does not quit, and they will stage a rally at some point.
This is the offense they wanted in the first half. They're getting it now.
4 minutes to go, third quarter. Nebraska down by 28. Gans threw it away. It was an incomplete pass. He was almost out of bounds when he threw it. Tommy Chavis was chasing after him. The senior from Orange, Texas. Missouri's done well in the state of Texas. We were talking to Sean Witherspoon the other day. How'd you wind up at Missouri coming from Jasper, Texas? And he said, I came on a visit. I liked it, but I wasn't really sure. I went home. I was in Beaumont, Texas in a sporting goods store, and I saw a Missouri sweatshirt, and I said, that's an omen. I meant to go to Missouri. The highly technical way some of these young men pick the schools they go to.
You think apparel's important and design? You got it.
Blitz. And they had a screen set up, but it was batted down by Christopher, which had a big night, an interception return for a score. I think this defense is starting to get a little agitated that they're considered the weak link. They have 10 starters back from their 12-2 team last year. When we spoke to William Moore and Weatherspoon yesterday, Weatherspoon had the comment, hey, we don't care the offense gets all the credit because most guys would love to play on a team that has an offense like ours.
Yeah, and Gary Pinkel said their defense is way ahead of last year. And don't forget, they're on the field a lot more, so they're going to give up more yards.
They blitz again.
Good play.
And it's toward the end zone and incomplete. Looked like Swift got a hand on it, but William Moore was there to break it up. There's a flag down behind the line of scrimmage.
Ball was late. Swift had to wait on it a little bit. I don't know if William Moore got his hand in there. It looked like it, or Swift dropped it. I got to believe William got his hand in there because Swift doesn't drop many passes.
After play ended, personal foul. Offense number 70. 15-yard penalty. Down counts. 4th down.
Matt Slauson, the talented right guard, he was singled out by Sean Watson for a particularly good game last week against Virginia Tech.
See right here, the ball was just a little bit late floating. Yeah, good job by William Moore of grabbing and jerking the hands down. Because I know Swift doesn't drop many balls. But again, if the ball's not on time, it allows a good athlete at 4'3", at 230 pounds to recover and make a defensive play.
It's 4th down and forever. They need to get to the 8-yard line, and they're going to go for it. And that isn't going to be close. Menelik Holt stacked up at the 28, 20 yards short of the 1st down.
I'm having a hard time figuring out why they ran that. I think you want to maybe take your shot down the field. If anything, if you don't get a completion, you might get a pass interference call or something, but take a shot at least to the sticks.
Well, they're possessing the ball here in the 3rd quarter, but with nothing to show for it on the scoreboard.
Breeze and the dynamic backfield of Deuce McAllister and Reggie Bush lead the charge for New Orleans as they try to remain undefeated in the Dome. Rookie of the Year Adrian Peterson and the Vikings play with desperation trying to keep pace in the NFC. It's Vikings Saints at 8:30 Eastern on ESPN's Monday Night Football.
Well, Joe Gans has to be frustrated. The Cornhuskers have had the ball for nearly 9 minutes in this quarter. 8:56. They've run 19 plays, but they haven't scored. Missouri's had it for 2 minutes and 33 seconds, and they've scored a touchdown. What a throw that was by Daniel. Right on the numbers to tight coverage. Lance Thurell was right on Denario Alexander, and the ball had to be perfect, and it was for 20 yards.
Well, what makes a great quarterback, if you ask a lot of NFL scouts, they're not so much concerned with arm strength. They're concerned with that. What that is accuracy. The receivers hardly ever have to work to catch the football because he puts it right on the numbers or right on their hands or only where they can get it.
Washington gets them across midfield. Chase Daniel was a talented baseball player growing up. That was really his best sport he caught until he got to high school in a great program, Carroll High School, South Lake, Texas. His family actually moved from Irving, Texas to South Lake to be in a select baseball program that Bump Wills and Steve Busby, the former major league players, were coaching. It's not bad. All-star team. But he got a chance to play in high school and really emerge as a wide receiver as a sophomore in high school. Macklin, the ball carrier. Chase Daniel actually played behind Aaron Luna, who was the quarterback who went on to star at Rice as a baseball player. Chase got his shot the last 2 years of high school and emerged as one of the top quarterback prospects in the country and won a state championship.
You know what I like about him? Take away all the physical skills. There's two things. There's cockiness. Cockiness is to think you're good. And there's confidence. That's when you know you're good. Chase is a very confident young man. He knows he's a good player. And his teammates and his playmakers, they thrive off that because they know he's going to get the job done every time he steps on the field.
Washington threw a big hole. Heading for the end zone. They are not going to catch him. Touchdown, Missouri.
Start to see the Nebraska Cornhusker defense wear down a little bit as they celebrate in the end zone, as they should. Hug your lineman. Well, we've seen this tonight a little bit, haven't we? A little guard pull around, kick out. They don't get him if it's flag football or angle by Sante, and it's off to the races again.
There's Chase Daniel's family. Parents Bill and Vicky. Jeff Wolford adds the extra point. And you hit on it, Chris. Another key to any good offensive football team is the offensive line. Gary Pinkel says it's the best line he's had in his 8 years at Missouri. Some veterans up there like Brian Madison and Curtis Gregory, but they also lost 2 4-year starters they had to replace. And it's a seamless transition. Their offensive line play has been excellent all year long.
Yeah, and the guy that's really stepped up, obviously Tim Barnes stepping in at center, but Elvis Fisher is a guy that they're really pleased with and probably has exceeded the coach's expectations, and they trust him because he protects Chase's backside.
He's just a redshirt freshman out of St. Petersburg. His dad is a radio analyst on the University of South Florida football broadcasts. They didn't realize he was going to be this good this soon. Gary Pinkel says it's making a big difference.
Yeah, Jim Leavitt let him get away, huh?
Yeah, Pittsburgh, the big win.
Yeah.
Part of those upsets over the last week and a half or so.
That's a strange thing about college football. Pittsburgh gets beat by Bowling Green. Then right now they've run off 4 in a row. But why is Pittsburgh winning? And I'm going to tell you, and I think I'm going to make a point about this later. They run the football. When you run the football, you've got a great chance of winning.
How about when you throw for 400 yards a game?
And run it. What do they have?
Yes.
Yeah. If you do both, you got greater chances of winning.
Good kick by Wolford with the wind. Well, speaking of running, we got the race cars running at Talladega. The chase heads to Talladega. Jimmy Johnson trying to stay ahead of Carl Edwards, who's a big Missouri fan, by the way. I believe he's from Columbia and a friend of Coach Pinkel. And Greg Biffle. The chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup continues with the AMP Energy 500 at Talladega on ABC Sunday. The coverage begins with NASCAR Countdown at 1 Eastern Time. Are you going to hurry home for that?
Isn't that Talladega? Is that where the track's a little tight to get wrecks down there? Rubbin's racing.
Marlon Lucky, the ball carrier. It's just about 10. A little bit short of the first down, tricked up by Hardy Riggs. 45-10. Missouri's been on the other end of this so many times in this stadium over the years. We mentioned they've lost 15 in a row here. And most of them have been one-sided. 15 losses have been by an average of 26 points per game. And it's been quite an interesting rivalry over the years. For a while, the two teams held their own. Then Nebraska had that long stretch when they couldn't lose to Missouri. They had that bizarre finish back in 1997, which was almost a big stumbling block on the way to the national championship for Nebraska. They won a controversial game in Columbia that year. The rivalry dates all the way back to 1892.
30 years.
24 straight wins before they finally won in Columbia, the Tigers, a few years ago. Castile fumbled, and Missouri has it back. Luke Lambert recovered the fumble.
Good job of Missouri playing it down, pinching everybody inside. Castile tries to go up over top. And right there, Shulock comes in and puts a helmet on the arms, weakening the arms, and the ball pops out. Look at Shulock getting that penetration, fighting off the blockers, knocking the ball out. Scoop and score. Don't fall on it. Scoop. Oh, it's 11. Yeah, he wanted to scoop and score.
Lambert content to fall on it. Striker Shulock, appropriately named there, as his strike knocked the ball out. Now Daniel going for the end zone. Touchdown. One thing they want to erase 30 years of negative history and style tonight. Right for the jugular, right to Denario Alexander. And a touchdown. 26 yards.
Well, they're just doing their game plan. And part of the game plan is after you get a turnover, go for the end zone. And when you have a quarterback that's just accurate, looks off to his left, which pulls defensive backs away, and 6'5" going up and getting the ball. Too easy.
Well, last year in Columbia with a big lead, they ran a fake field goal, did Missouri. They wound up scoring a touchdown in their 41-6 win over Nebraska. An extra point up and good.
course, I remember Syracuse when I was a student came here one year. Syracuse was behind 35-0 and Nebraska onside kicked and recovered. So, you know, hey,
you know what?
You're going to do it, take it.
You've worked with me for 3 years now. What's my philosophy on scoring points?
It's the other team's job to stop you from scoring.
Exactly. And it's not Missouri's job to get out of the way of Missouri. If I'm Bo, I'd want him to keep coming. This is going to teach your kids a lesson, and it might light a fire under them, because right now their heads are hanging, and this is what you worry about if you're Bo Pelini, if last year's mentality is going to sneak in, and that's something that Bo's going to have to fight, especially on the defensive side of the ball.
That had to feel good for Denario Alexander, young man who was a key part of their attack last year. Caught 37 balls, but then ripped up his knee in the Big 12 title game against Oklahoma. He lost twice last year. Both were to Oklahoma. Alexander missed the Cotton Bowl, re-injured the knee, and had to have another surgical procedure in the spring. There's still Exon and Owing on the other side. The Cornhuskers cannot find a way to stop this offensive juggernaut. Where is the weakness on this Missouri offense? As you said earlier, they might have the best quarterback in the country, the best tight end. They have a terrific receiving core, outstanding offensive line, and a very productive running back. Other than that, they're not any good, and they're well coached.
They're going to be a problem for a lot of people. There is no weakness on this offense.
They're still under their average. They've only scored 52. That's a point and change below their season average. Washington well over 100 yards. Macklin with the 5 receptions. He's also been a factor running the ball and in the return game. That's kind of an inaccurate night for Chase Daniel. 18 out of 23 last week against Buffalo. In their last game against Buffalo, he set the conference record with 20 straight completions.
And in that graphic, you didn't see Chase Kaufman or Denario Alexander or Saunders or any of the other role players that Chase feels very comfortable in going to. And those guys making plays. I'm Gary Pinkelshon. They're done. Sit him down. Good night work, boys. Have a seat.
A long way to go yet. You don't want to get anybody hurt here with a 42-point lead. On the other hand, in this day and age of polls, Heisman Trophy races where the numbers and the stats are so important, it can be a tough call when to call off the Dogs. Swift, as usual, giving an all-out effort. We'll see if they give him the mark for the first down. Castine Bridges was trying to stop him, but he got the 30 and a first down.
First down, Huskers to the 30-yard line.
Swift among the all-time leading receivers. And you look at the all-time leading numbers at Nebraska, there aren't a lot of big reception numbers because for so many years they were an option football team running. Wide receivers used to joke that they should be called wide blockers. Swift has a chance to become their all-time leading receiver before he leaves here. Johnny Rodgers is at the top of that list with 145 career receptions. And Swift has been gaining rapidly. Fans didn't like that play call. Lucky the ball carrier. Swift started the night with 118 catches. Has 5 more tonight. So he's likely to pass the great Johnny Rodgers, Heisman Trophy winner, if he continues on this pace and stays healthy. Well, the good news for Nebraska, they had a decided edge in time of possession in that third quarter. Bad news is they were outscored 21-0 in the third and trailed 52-10. Missouri chasing the title as we welcome you back to ESPN College Football Primetime presented by Hampton Hotels. Chasing the Big 12 title. And they hope a national championship. Certainly put on a national championship caliber performance here tonight. Marlon Lucky, the first carry of the fourth quarter. Nebraska ball down 52-10. Chase Daniel back in the state of Nebraska, where he has formed a friendship with one of Nebraska's most distinguished citizens. I was going to say he's probably the best known citizen of Nebraska, but Tom Osborne would have to be at the top of the list.
Next to Tom Osborne.
The Oracle of Omaha, Warren Buffett, one of the wealthiest men in the world, and Chase Daniel have struck up a friendship. And then emailed back and forth during the week. Peterson knocked out of bounds. He has a first down. Chase Daniel's a finance major in the highly regarded College of Business at Missouri. And back in the spring, a group of Missouri students made a trip up to Omaha to meet Warren Buffett and hear him speak. Warren Buffett's a big football fan. He knew who Chase Daniel was. And they have been corresponding fairly regularly ever since.
And we have Warren's Missouri fan, Chase Daniel fan, and didn't he ask Chase? He let Chase touch his wallet for good luck.
I mean, that's a good wallet.
It's a George Costanza wallet.
Chase Daniel presented him with a football signed by the Missouri team.
He was excited.
Talk about a coaching staff that has its priorities right. That took place during spring practice. And you know how some coaches are about the importance of every single practice. Gary Pinkel told him, hey, if you have a chance to go meet Warren Buffett and benefit from his wisdom, go do it.
Absolutely. What a job he's done, Gary Pinkel. Keeping his staff together. Something to be said about continuity amongst the staff.
They've had the same coaching staff. He hasn't lost one assistant coach in the 8 years he's been there. And a lot of these guys go back to Toledo with Gary Pinkel. Lucky the ball carrier. Gary had a very successful 10-year run at Toledo, won 73 games. After 12 years as an assistant to the legendary Don James at Washington. And if, as many expect, there's a coaching change at Washington at the end of this year, you can bet this man's name will come up again. He interviewed for it when they hired Rick Neuheisel. They'd probably like to have that one back.
Yeah, and if I'm Missouri, I don't let him go. I think he's got something special going here, and you want to build on that.
Castile trying to get to the first down marker and could not. Pulled down by Castine Bridges. And it's amazing how quickly fortunes can change. I remember not long ago, a few years ago, doing Missouri games when part of the discussion was Gary Pinkel going to keep his job? And they had a disappointing season. And he made the decision to switch to the spread offense. He said he called a lot of defensive coordinators around the country and asked them, well, what do you hate playing against? And the answer over and over again was spread offense. So he went to his staff, said, let's become a spread team. They've added some of their own wrinkles to it. 12 wins last year. Number 4 in the country right now, on their way to 5-0.
You know, Sean, and I believe, yeah, that's helped them. But what's helped them more?
Delay a game offense. 5-yard penalty. Still 4th down.
And I know this is an old saying, but it's not always about the X's and O's and the Jessies and the Joes. He's got the Jessies and the Joes. When you have talent, that trumps everything. And when you're able to get guys like Chase Daniel and Jeremy Maclin and Chase Kaufman and Derek Washington, a guy that's played a heck of a game tonight at linebacker who was anxious to watch, Sean Weatherspoon, Brock Christopher. These guys are solid football players, and they're talented.
We've upgraded the facilities. The penalty now means they're not going to go for it on 4th down. They're going to punt on 4th and 7. And the fair catch is made by Saunders, a 40-yard punt. We're back in Lincoln, Nebraska. 4th quarter. The night is done for Chase Daniel. Down to the backup quarterback, Chase Patton, who's actually seen quite a bit of action this year because they've been so prolific and so quick scoring points under Daniel. He's come out of a couple of their games early. Patton's thrown 12 passes this season.
I think it's important.
You're from Columbia.
I think it's important to get him in there. And we asked Dave Christensen about Chase Patton, and the offense doesn't change. They don't shut it down. He's a senior, but he's getting valuable reps. Knock on wood, if anything to happen to Chase Daniel, you know, this kid would be ready to go. I like to see him air the ball a little bit just to keep his game time rhythm going.
And he does throw it. Caught by Andrew Jones, the backup tight end. Chase Daniel's night, 18 out of 23. For 253, 3 touchdowns, and no interceptions. Mizzou has not turned it over tonight. So for the season now, Chase Daniel's thrown 15 touchdown passes and 1 interception.
And that's so valuable, ball security and protecting the football. Missouri, we asked them what was wrong with their offense, and they were upset about 3 turnovers they had against Buffalo. But other than that, there's nothing to complain about this offense.
They said we need to protect the ball better than they have tonight. Flag down. Looked like there was movement across the line by Nebraska.
Ball carried by number 26, Devin Moore.
Devin Moore, the ball carrier, the 3rd string tailback.
Offside.
Redshirt freshman.
Defense. 5-yard penalty. Retreat, first down.
That'll be the 13th penalty of the night against Nebraska. There's a look back at the night for Chase Daniel. First score of the game, a 58-yard touchdown pass to Macklin. That was easy for Washington. Alexander, the 3rd of the 3 touchdown passes thrown by Daniel.
I think his greatest asset, again, because it's vital to this team, is his accuracy. He does not miss.
Devin Moore again. Let's check in with Rob Stone.
Well, guys, Chase falls into that category of exceptional college quarterback who's regarded as just kind of ho-hum by the NFL. Todd McShay of ESPN and Scout Sync told me he is rated the 7th best senior class quarterback, and that is a weak senior class at that. At best, he's a 3rd rounder, most likely a 4th rounder. He's got the arm, he's got the accuracy to play at the next level, but guys, again, the biggest question is that kind of sub-6-foot frame. And Chris, is the NFL making too much or too little out of that?
Well, I think if you look at the history of 6-foot quarterbacks in the NFL, it's not a great history. And I can think of one right now that does pretty well in Drew Brees. Other than that, name me one that plays. And he's got history against him. Now, I wouldn't bet anything against him, but I know that history's against him.
And he's playing in an offense that helps him deal with the lack of height. He's way back there, as we mentioned, in the shotgun. And those huge splits give him a lot of lanes to look through.
Yeah. And you will not see that in the NFL. Plus, Sean, he's got to be able to operate that offense from under center. Most of the NFL offense, if you see shotgun, the shotgun is usually done on 3rd down.
I'll tell you what, though, there's an awful lot of talent there, and intelligence, and work ethic. And he's a winner. Andrew Jones, the catch. Stoner?
Well, Chase has taken some shots for his, let's call it less than Adonis-like physique. He likes where he is right now, around 225 pounds.
First down.
He says it prevents him from, wearing down through the course of the season. He followed that with a quote, like, hey, look where I am right now. It hasn't hindered me, though. One thing I found interesting, though, guys, in our chat with him yesterday was the topic of the fluctuation of his weight. He said it fluctuates big time. He told us in season he can go from 220 to 230 in a day, guys, and he has no idea why.
Well, I mean, eating might have something to do with it.
Maybe. Drive-thrus.
A lot of these players we visit with, they walk in and they are physical specimens. Chase certainly does not look like what you would anticipate physically one of the best quarterbacks in the country. But you take the results, when you put the film on and watch it, you'll love the way he plays.
Plus, he's athletic. Again, he can move around. He can run if he needs to run. And I think I really do believe that little extra cushion, whether he's 220 or in between 220 and 230, he took some shots tonight. I mean, Nebraska gave him some good hits, and that does help him stay healthy. And he doesn't wear down with it. So whatever you're comfortable at, that's some guy you don't overcoach and you don't mess around with. Whatever you feel comfortable with, Chase, you do.
Here's Patton taking off on the run. Did not get to the first down marker. Good pursuit to the ball by Larry Asante. And meanwhile, on the other side, Chris, when we came here last week for Virginia Tech, a lot of anticipation in this state. They were 3-0. The folks love the hire of Bo Pelini. Generally, when you walk around, everybody believes he's going to be the guy to lead them back to where they ought to be. But they were looking at last week's game as the statement that we're really on the way back. And then that was a big disappointment. And now tonight, not only the rout, but 14 penalties, turnovers, again, the busted assignments, the lack of good tackling. I mean, this is looking a lot like last year and some of the worst days of the Bill Callahan era. And it's early in his tenure, to be fair, but it's not going to get better as fast as these people hope.
No, and again, I think it goes back to recruiting. And I think Bo will do a good job of recruiting. I mean, they tried some junior college kids that didn't quite work out. And if you only have 2-year players, it's tough to build a program from within. And I believe this. I think Bo is the right person for the right job at the right time. And the only thing that you have to do, and you look at Garrett Pinkel when he first got to Nebraska, it wasn't great. You have to be patient and let him build his program and his system, and he'll get the job done. Just be patient with him.
Here's Devin Moore. Great production out of their third-string tailback, the redshirt freshman from St. Louis. 16 yards there. Coming up next on ESPN at Sports Center with Neil Everett and Steve Levy. Among the stories they'll be chronicling, big battles in the SEC and Big Ten today. The Auburn-Vanderbilt showdown, Ohio State and Wisconsin. Highlighting today's college football schedule. The spotlight will be on Big 12 quarterbacks. And the Cubs and Brewers facing elimination in the Major League Baseball playoffs. Blaine Gabbert comes in as the third-string quarterback, and you hear the reaction from the crowd. He hands it off to Jimmy Jackson. Gabbert, a highly recruited quarterback out of high school last year, had committed to Nebraska and then changed his mind and went to Missouri. And in the days leading up to this game, he knew if he got in that he was not going to be greeted warmly. The good news for him, the stadium's now about half empty. So there's only about 40,000 booers instead of 85,000.
Well, I think they tugged at the heartstrings and say, stay home, Blaine, stay home. And plus, there's 2 seniors ahead of him, so he's probably thinking his shot to play is going to happen a little bit earlier at Missouri as opposed to Nebraska.
Jimmy Jackson, the ball carrier. Ty Steinkooler made the tackle. And of course, Bill Callahan was doing the recruiting. West Coast offense, fun to play in if you're a quarterback, but when it was obvious that Bill Callahan's days were coming to an end here, why not head to Missouri, where they're going to play this spread offense? And it looks like they've got things rolling, and it's going to be rolling for a while.
Well, if Nebraska's going to commit to old school Nebraska running the football, I'm not saying necessarily the option, but old school football, then what you got to do is you have to go get about 5 premier I-backs, the best in the country. Say, look, you're the focus of the offense. We want to come back and make the I-back the star. And if you get that, you get competition. If you get that stud I-back, then you can work on your running game. Then you want to get the big movers up front. Run blockers first, pass blockers second. But so many high schools, Sean, run that spread offense. A lot of those offensive linemen that come in are spread offensive linemen, and they're not used to powering off the football.
4th down and 4. And they're going for it at the 29-yard line. And if Nebraska felt maybe that fake field goal at the end of last year's game was a bit of a rub-in, that was a fairly tame play call right there. And a mock cheer goes up from the fans who remain as the defense stops Missouri on downs.
ESPN's College Football Primetime is presented by Hampton Hotels. At Hampton, we love having you here. And in part by Allstate, proud sponsor of college football and the 75th Allstate Sugar Bowl. Are you in good hands?
Joe Gans, the quarterback for Nebraska. Apparently he's going to go the distance, even though they're down by 42 with just over 3 minutes to go. 52-10 Missouri. On the verge of winning in Lincoln for the first time since 1978, when they beat the then second-ranked Nebraska Cornhuskers. Roy Halou, the ball carrier. Shaquille Smith, the backup. True freshman defensive end, made the tackle. Let's take a look at the ESPNU All-State Standings Review. Of course, there was all kinds of carnage at the top of the rankings last weekend. Not so this weekend. Really no surprises today. South Florida lost Thursday night to Pitt. The only team ranked in the top 10 to lose.
That'll change plenty of times, I think, before the year's out, once we get into conference play.
Halou again to the 37-yard line. Oklahoma #1. And at this time of the year, you know, that could have been a shaky #1 if they didn't look good today. We saw what happened early in the year when Georgia won, but wasn't impressive enough and slid. Oklahoma very impressive, because we both believe that is a rapidly improving Baylor team.
Yeah. Oklahoma with Sam Bradford at the helm, plus their balance, they can run, they can throw. The team that I like to keep your eye on, old champions die hard. LSU. LSU's found a quarterback in Lee. They can run the football. I think the best offensive line, defensive line combination in the country. If they can win up there, they'll have a lot of shots at maybe repeating.
Mike McNeil, the Missouri native, all the way to the Tigers' 40-yard line. Kenja Jackson made the tackle. 23 yards on the completion to McNeil. The surprise Gans is still in the game.
I am a little bit. Again, I think for the same reasons why they put Chase Patton in the ball game. You want to give your backup a shot for him to get game time reps, knock on wood, just in case something would happen to your starter. It's probably a good time when you're 42 down to do it.
Dumped over the middle to Halou. Short of the first down at the 34-yard line. We mentioned several times that Missouri has lost 15 in a row here and hasn't won in Lincoln since 1978. And in those 15 losses, the most points they'd ever scored in a game here in Lincoln was 24 in a 42-24 loss here in 2000. They only managed to score in the 20s 4 times in those 15 games, and they put 52 up tonight.
I was going to say they made up for that 30 years tonight.
Yeah.
Missouri beat them in 58, 31-0. They're right there, Bo. Bo's a tough guy. He knows he's got a lot of work, and he'll get it together. I think the one thing he's going to be disappointed in more than anything, and you mentioned it, is the penalties. And it takes a while to get your discipline in and your team in, but the penalties have got to get cleaned up because they're not an explosive offensive football team, although they have scored points. But against a good defense like this, they can't help another team with all the penalties that they gave away tonight.
14 penalties against Nebraska for 101 yards. They moved the chains on the completion to the backup tight end, Drew Young. Gary Pinkel said we had a long losing streak at Colorado. We ended that. We had a long history of losing at Kansas State. We ended that, and this is such a big win. He gets the Gatorade bucket, and they're clearly very pleased, as they should be.
They spared the head.
Won at Colorado for the first time since '97, and at K-State for the first time since '89.
And they spared him on the headshot, though. They threw it on his shoulders.
And that might be the last play of the game. Halou, the ball carrier. And a big bright spot as well tonight for Missouri, the defense. This is a good Nebraska offensive team that had scored 30 or more points in 7 straight games. Missouri held them to 10.
Nebraska running a play here. They're not going to quit. I like it. Go ahead, Bo. Send a message. Go for the end zone.
Gans. Well, they better hope he doesn't get clocked, or it won't be such a great message. And a touchdown to Menelik Holt.
Well, he took a shot too, Sean.
Yeah. Well, there is a lesson. I mean, they battled to the very last second and scored. But there were two big, burly Missouri Tiger defenders coming sprinting at Gans as he delivered that football.
See Gans holding his back, running off the field. You see right here, waiting. He throws the fastball.
He knew it was coming.
He was able to run away from it a little bit to eliminate some of the contact, not all of it.
And Alex Henry adds the extra point.
And the kick is good.
And the Missouri Tigers come to Lincoln and win here for the first time in 30 years and do it in convincing fashion. They trounced Nebraska 52-17. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. Coming up next, it's Sports Center with Neil Everett and Steve Levy. Now for Chris Spielman, Rob Stone, and the rest of our ESPN HD crew, I'm Sean McDonough saying good night from Lincoln, Nebraska.
Game you watched on ESPN Saturday night. 4th-ranked Missouri at Nebraska. Home team has won the last 6 in the series. The Missouri has lost 15 straight in Lincoln, so that bodes well for Bo Pelini's club. But Jeremy Macklin, Chase Daniel. See the story on Macklin on E60? It was tremendous. Tigers up 7-0. He had 5 catches, 88 yards, and that touchdown. Game tied at 7 as Nebraska answered right back. Daniel to Tommy Saunders, 10 yards and a roughing the passer, so make it a 25-yard play. And later in that drive, 1st and goal at the 3, Derek Washington had a big night from 3 yards there. It's 14-7. Now 24-7 as Missouri can score points in bunches. Joe Gans rolls right. Brock Christopher, the senior linebacker from Kearney, Missouri, with the pick, and he scores. It's 31-7. Now 31-10, 3rd quarter. Washington, 14 carries, 140 yards, 2 touchdowns, gain of 29 yards right there. So where's the other touchdown? Later in the drive, that's where it is on 2nd and goal. Daniel finds Washington. 7 yards. Missouri, 52-17. Big over Nebraska.